my protector from the start, strongest soul I ever knew. She carried half my heart, beautiful in everything, the way she filled a room. One smile from my sister and she'd chase away the gloom. It was always us together, me and her against it all. Through the fights and through the laughter, we would never let one fall. Anytime I needed her, she was already on her way. No questions asked, ready to battle. That's just who she was. We lost a cowgirl, we lost a soldier, we lost the best part of our heart. Her smile lives on in her boys. Her boys will see her in every sunrise. But our memories keep her alive. Right on, cowgirl, till the end. A rock solid sister, a mother through and through. Everything she gave to us, I'm giving back to you. It's ugly what this world can take, how fast it disappears. But I'll carry you inside me for the rest of my days. Some days I still reach for the phone, still expect to hear you laugh, still feel you standing right behind me, like you never really left, like you never really left. We lost a cowgirl, we lost a soldier, we lost the best part of our heart. Her smile lives on in her boys. Her boys will see her in every sunrise. But our memories keep her alive. Right on, cowgirl, till the end. Long live my sissy, Daynia. Ride until I ride with you again, and my heart is where you'll always be. Long live my sissy, till the end. Adaynia Caine. Daynia Caine.
Live on the air, Trial Junkies United presents Justice After Dark with your host, Z.
Thank you, Doc. Welcome, everybody. And Simi was first tonight. Our wonderful mod Simi showed up first. Fala's with us. Our Luna Irish Fairy has a migraine, so she won't be with us tonight. So everybody send her some good vibes. Pammy's with us tonight. Bane. How do you say that, Doc? Baineby?
Huh? Baineby.
Yeah, well, in the chat, babe.
Yeah,
Mustang's
Mustang
here.
Blaine.
Bane?
Blaine.
Blaine. Okay. I said it wrong. I always say things wrong, you guys, so you'll get used to it. Things just don't come out of my mouth correctly. But we want to welcome everyone. All of you lurkers, come on in and join us. You people that are hanging out over there on our Facebook page, welcome. Glad you're here too. Greetings to all of our trial junkies, our truth seekers, and our justice warriors. I'm Z, your storyteller in the wilderness of injustice, and my ride or die doc is riding shotgun as we navigate the darkness where the predators hunt and our system fails. Doc, you ready tonight?
Ready to ride.
And hey, Unscripted, thanks for coming. Tonight, we tell a story society really would rather leave buried, but we refuse to let the silence be betrayal. Every Thursday, we do honor our Indigenous and Native brothers and sisters and our First Nations up in Canada. We tell their stories because no one should ever be forgotten. And this run tonight is surrounded by questions. The story belongs to a young mother from the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. Her name was Adaynia Caine Poor Bear-Richards. Her Lakota name, and you know me, I always say things wrong, so I wrote it down because I'm not even going to attempt to say it and dishonor her. But it shows what her Lakota name was, and it means white eagle head woman. And before we start, I want to say something. Her sister Jay and I had a phone interview to talk about Daynia and what they had been told, what they had found out. She wanted her sister's story told. Her mother was there in the room, but she wasn't ready to be on camera. She says she gets nervous, and I can understand that, and that's okay. So tonight, I'm telling this story for her and for her family because they trusted me. And so that means a lot. And we are going to say her name. And it's Adaynia Caine Poor Bear-Richards. And let's not forget that. And let's talk about her. They called her Daynia. She was born on December 14th, 1997. I'm familiar with December 14th. That's the day I was born. Not the year, but and so this one's special to me. It just gave me a connection to Daynia. And she was born in Pine Ridge. She was 28 years old. And she, 28, you guys. She's just a baby. And she had a rough start. At 4 months old, her mother found that she had had a hip that had been dislocated. And so the doctors put her in a lower body cast at 4 months old, and one that got changed and adjusted as she grew all the way until she was almost 4. I want you guys to think about that. A 4-month-old baby all the way till she was almost 4 years old in a lower body cast. Now, her uncle Judd, he is the one that he wrote this beautiful synopsis on her obituary. And it was amazing because he said she couldn't crawl, but he said she rolled, and she'd look at where she wanted to go and she'd roll herself there. He said even as an infant, she'd wake up from sleep and roll herself into the kitchen just to see what was cooking. Welcome, Shannon. She was raised in part by the man of the family, and that was her Uncle Judd. And he was young at the time, but he helped. And they called him, his name I think was Justice, but they called him Uncle Judd, J-U-T. So we're going to talk about another uncle. Uncle Judd was a stand-up man and has been there for these girls. And I want to be very clear about the distinction, because this story, we'll get into it. There's more than one uncle. So this is the girls, the 4 girls together. And Daynia, he said, was a cautious kid. She was scared of everything. And I can imagine having to have a body cast like that. I'm sure she was very scared at first. But he said she didn't even speak for a long time. And then one day he said just suddenly full sentences came out of nowhere. And he said everybody was in shock. And somewhere along the way, he said her fear absolutely disappeared. And he said she became fearless, goofy, crazy in the best way. that he said it was that one sister, as her family calls her, the one who could walk into a room and light it up, the one who could get everybody laughing even while she was being scolded. She loved food. Jay said her favorite was her snacks like hot chips, chocolate, which I love some chocolate, let me tell you, and a pop on the side.
Yeah, that's given. I don't know too many women that don't like chocolate. I
I
mean,
know, but somehow I found a man that just doesn't care for chocolate the way I do.
I don't, I'm sorry.
That's your only fault, Doc. But her mother told the story that just to show you how wild Daynia can be sometimes. She told her little sister James that the difference between lettuce and cabbage was rabbits eat cabbage. And that was all she said. No other information. And she said James believed her for a long time that cabbage was for rabbits. And she said that was just how Daynia was. Jay said she liked to clown around and she liked to clown on her sisters the most. When she had her second son, she asked her Uncle Judd, "What am I going to name him?" And he told her, "Name the boy after me. I have no juniors." And, and so she said she was going to name him Justice. But she goes, she was thinking, what am I going to give him for a middle name? Well, Little Bighorn Day was close by. And we know it was just celebrated recently up there in the Black Hills. And so they came up with Justice Custard Killer, which I love. I love that name. Why not?
Yep.
And that's his legal name. And Daynia, her sisters described her as the protector. Her family, Jay and her sister Sean, James, and said they were an army together. They were unstoppable for each other. No questions asked, no hesitation. Like a lot of people, Daynia had some addiction issues and she was working on it. And at the time that she died, she had been sober and she was living in the Pine Ridge Reservation with her mom and her sisters. And then her Uncle Judd and her grandmother were helping with her boys. She had a 9-year-old named Orlin, and little Justice, is 7 years old. And she was proud of that. She loved those boys. And she was working on healing. Her mother said she was so happy to be back. And she was really trying to walk that path. But she didn't get the chance. And here's what her family has pieced together through what they know, what they've been told. And a lot of this comes from her sister, Jay, and her mom. Like I said, mom was in the background chatting. "Hey, Sleuthy, thank you for coming." So let's start on June 20th of 2026, this June. Before 8 a.m., there was banging on the door of their family home in Pine Ridge. Loud, persistent. Now, Jay heard it, and she thought because of how ferocious they were banging, she was like, that could be the cops. So she pretended to be asleep. She wasn't going to get involved in anything. She didn't want to know. Don't blame her. So she was pretending to be asleep, and then she heard a man's voice. And then she heard her sister talking. Now, according to Jay, she heard 2 words from her sister, and they were, "Okay, okay. Hey, therapist, So it wasn't the police. And so then she heard her sister getting ready to go out the door. So then she jumped up because she's like, are the police taking her? Because at that time, she still wasn't sure. Okay. So she runs out, and in the car, there was a Chrysler 300 parked in front of the house. And it was their uncle. We're going to call him Uncle X, because X is where we need to look. So Uncle X was in the car, and her sister Daynia was in the passenger seat. Now, this is an uncle on her grandmother's side. It was her grandmother's sister's side of the family. Okay. So Uncle X, and this man is in his 50s. So, yeah. Okay. So you know a little bit about him. So Jay said she came out and she said she decided that, you know, she was going to go find out what was going on. You know, where's her sister going? And so Jay said that she went over and she asked him for a cigarette. And she said it was really strange when she thought about him banging on the door because he would normally pull up to the house and honk his horn, and her mom would go out and see what he wanted. He wasn't one to get out of the car and waste time. But that morning, he came to the door and was banging ferociously. So now Jay's out there and she gets a cigarette. Well, Uncle X is upset with her, first of all. And he said that Jay had dined him out to his mommy. Yeah, you heard me right. And told his mommy that he had been selling cocaine. And Jay's like, no, I didn't. She says, now I did tell her you were messing with meth. So needless to say, Uncle Jay has a record. He dabbles in drugs.
Mm-hmm.
If people know. But while she's talking to Uncle X here, she notices he has got a gun laying on his lap. Think about that. A gun is just laying on his lap in the car. Now, we know that there are people that have weapons. And usually when you have a weapon, you have a holster or you have it in your car. Well, one thing to remember is Uncle X has a history here. He's a felon. He's not supposed to have a weapon. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder.
Mm-hmm.
So Jay said at first she didn't, she wasn't looking at Daynia because she was just kind of fascinated, like, why do you have a gun? And she said then they said that they were going to go because he was going to have Daynia help him pick up his pickup truck. Remember, he's in a Chrysler 300. This is his car. Now, he lives in Rapid City. Pine Ridge Reservation's about 120 miles away, almost a 2-hour drive. He had showed up before 8 a.m. Now, I don't know if it was like 7:50 or what, but it wasn't quite 8 a.m., okay? So that means he had to have been up and out of, his place to get down. Yeah, it would be down. And so they take off. And so she goes back in the house. She doesn't think anything of it. And then, time passes by and, she's not hearing from her sister. She's texting, trying to get a hold of her sister. Now, let's start with Uncle X. Now, like I said, his story is he was coming to get Daynia to pick up his truck. Okay? They go back to Rapid City, and they end up at where that red dot is. That's a Super 8 motel. Now, they arrive at the Super 8 around 10 a.m. I said around a 2-hour drive. Why didn't they go pick up his truck? That's a question. So let's think about it. Another question is when she left, Daynia did not take her wallet. She didn't take her purse or any bag. She did have a cell phone. That was it. Now, they didn't pick up the truck, and that's what she was supposed to be going for. Now, according to the investigator, there is footage of them approaching the room, walking to the room. And he had parked the car on the north side of the hotel. Now, Jay told me that she has stayed in that hotel before. And she said the camera on the north side does not work. Of course, when she brought that attention, because you don't see supposedly the car in the footage, you just see them going to a room on the second floor. And this is the kind of a motel where you can reach the door from the outside. Okay, it's one of those. It's Motel A.
Mm-hmm.
So they get up and they're going to the room. And so after that, they go in, and then later he leaves. Now, she wasn't giving a time when he left, but he leaves. Okay. And he said he went to get his truck. Okay, well, let's back the bus up here because I thought that's why you took Daynia to Rapid City, is for her to pick up the truck so you could drive your car and she could drive your truck. Of course, she doesn't have her ID with her to drive because she has no driver's license with her. Okay, more questions.
Mm-hmm. The plot thickens.
Yeah, I mean, there's a mystery here. Now, eventually, Uncle X comes back. And he is, I guess, seen on the footage going to the room. And it looks like he puts his key in the door. Well, he ends up contacting the front desk, telling them that the latch is on the door from the inside. Now, he says that his niece is in there and that she'd had a headache and she had asked him for some Tylenol. And she also wanted some dollar burgers to eat. So my question is, in the footage, does he have the hamburgers? There actually is a Wendy's across the interstate. Okay, where are the hamburgers? Did he drive in with his truck? Or is he still in the car? He can't drive two vehicles. I have questions. Then at some point, he leaves the hotel. Because when he talks to the front desk, they tell him, well, we have a tool to unlock those latches that are locked on the inside, but it's not here on the premises. What? Did the tool take a time out? Where would it be? That doesn't make sense.
It took a vacation.
Yeah. So the tool they use to unlock doors that are locked from the inside, the security latch, it's not on the premises. Okay, that's weird. So Uncle X leaves. He's gone. And so then what happens is supposedly the investigator tells Jay that he actually called the police several times. Doesn't give a number. He says several. So that's more than once on the 20th, asking for a welfare check on his niece. But he didn't stay at the hotel. He left. The police never showed up. Now, another thing to find out is this room had been rented according to the investigator, by Uncle X before they got there. And he'd rented it for a night. Now, according to the story he had told, she was just going to help pick up a truck. She didn't bring any extra clothes. She wasn't planning on spending the night. She didn't have a purse. She didn't have money. Now, Uncle X actually lives in Rapid City. So you might wonder, why does he have a hotel room? I did. Well,
it's starting to smell bad.
According to his mommy, him and his wife were having some conflict. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a motel room. So we have more questions. So he's, in the meantime, Jay and her sisters, they're trying to get a hold of Daynia. And they're not reaching her. Now, remember I told you that they got there about 10 a.m. Now, the last message that they get from Daynia is at 10:49 a.m. There is a text to them. And there's one word, bro. That's it. Nothing. And then after that, she doesn't answer. So, Jay, and this is a picture of Jay and Adaynia. And they go a little crazy because they start, putting it all over Facebook. Where's my sister? Uncle X and her took off to Rapid City. What's going on? They're concerned. And I don't blame them. I would have been too, because she's not answering her phone. She's not answering her texts. Now, eventually, there is a maid that says somebody did hear a scream, but nobody checked it out. Okay, but we don't know what time. Interesting, you know? So now it rolls around, it's June 21st. Now, Uncle X never came back to the motel. But at 6 a.m., he shows back up in Pine Ridge, knocking on the door again, and tells Jay that Daynia is at Motel 8, asleep and safe in his motel room. And he asked her and her younger sister to take down the missing posts that they'd been putting up. He said he had to go pick her up before the 11 a.m. checkout and that he would bring her home. Now, if it's 6 a.m., what time did he get up to go pick her up or to show up there? Now, this shows you how close the Wendy's is right across the street from the hotel. So, if, like I said, she wanted burgers. Come on, people. Where's the burgers? I'm still hung up on the burgers. So, okay. So at 6 a.m., he's banging on the door saying, I'm going to go pick her up. Take these posts down. He doesn't like it. So around 11 o'clock, a maid goes into the room and uses her key card and starts cleaning the room. She discovers a water puddle. She goes into the bathroom and she finds a body, naked, unrecognizable, in the bathtub. Of course, I'm sure she freaked out, and who wouldn't? So authorities get called. They're notified. The police show up. The fire department shows up. They are responding to the scene. Well, guess who shows up? Not Uncle X. Uncle X's mommy. Did you hear me? His mommy shows up. Now, this man is over 50. And his mommy comes to the scene. Okay.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't. And she wants to ID the body for them. Well, of course, they're not going to let her in there. Now, the body is found around 11 a.m. There's no driver's license. There's no ID. So this is about 24 hours after she arrived in that hotel, they find a body. Okay, because she arrived around 10 on the 20th. On the 21st at around 11, they find a body. Now, Uncle X's mommy calls her sister, which would be Daynia's grandma, and tells her Daynia's passed. Now, nobody has confirmed it's her, and nobody has said anything. The law enforcement has not contacted her immediate family. So, of course, her grandmother's upset and I think gets her uncle or another uncle to call the home and say, and Jay said it was the worst moment of her life when they got the call and said, your sister has passed away and she's at the Motel 8. Now,
but it wasn't confirmed because they wouldn't let mommy in to see, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So at this point, when all this is going on, they haven't even removed her yet. Okay. And in the meantime, there is a detective on the scene that somehow has Uncle X's phone number and calls him and tells him that Daynia is deceased.
He already had his phone number. He didn't have to ask for it.
Yes.
Wow. Oh.
And he calls him from the scene and says Daynia is deceased. And it has not been confirmed that this is her because she has been in hot water in a bathtub for 24 hours. She's unrecognizable. And let's just be honest, bodies that are in water are some of the hardest that medical examiners deal with. End of discussion. I'm not going into detail.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls Jay and tells him that she's deceased. Well, of course, the family in Pine Ridge is scrambling to get, themselves to Rapid City. Well, Uncle X starts texting the family saying, "I'm so sorry. Daynia passed away in my room while I was gone picking up my truck."
Oh,
Now,
what,
did,
wait a minute. So what time did he go to pick up his truck?
that we don't have a specific time yet. They have not given the family the time that he left the hotel. And I'll explain that in just a bit
Okay.
as to why.
All right.
So now we have a contradiction here because my question is, does he even have his truck at this time? We don't know. He never came to the hotel. The room is in his name. It's not in Daynia's name. You know, she was brought to Rapid City to drive this truck somewhere for him. Now, I don't know where he wanted it driven. Did he just want it brought to the motel? Did he want it taken to his house with his grumpy wife? Or did he want it taken to the reservation for some reason? We don't know. Is Simi right? The uncle and the cop are friends and the uncle's deals drugs. Yeah, I have questions.
Yeah.
You know, he's a felon. So, you know, because the man can't drive two vehicles. And it's like, don't you have anybody in the city that you could have gotten to take you to pick up your truck? Apparently mommy drives because mommy showed up at the hotel or the motel. So come on, what's, you know. So after this happens, because, okay, we do have a situation where they said that there are several accounts on the door. Okay. The maid said she used her key card, right? The hotel owner has given an inconsistent account. He says that they broke the lock, meaning the police or the fire department. The investigator says they used the door tool to unlock the door and broke in to gain entry. Oops. Sorry. That was an Amber Alert went off on my phone.
Yeah, mine too.
Okay. So, so we have the maid used her key card and walked into the room to clean. The owner is saying that the cops or the fire department just broke in. The investigator saying, well, we got the little tool and we broke in, but the lock broke. So someone's not telling us what really happened. Okay. Now, number one, how did you know to come to this hotel about a body unless the maid had gone in and seen it? And that's a question. Why are y'all there? You didn't come yesterday when there were a couple of welfare checks on this girl by Uncle X. But y'all showed up today and broke in? I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's another interesting point to think about is that when Jay and the family makes it there eventually, and they've taken her sister away, she eventually goes to do a ceremonial smudging on the second floor where the door is. A surprise, the door lock isn't broke. She doesn't go into the room, of course, but the door lock's not broke. Okay. And like I said, how did they know to come to the motel and to gain access into the room unless somebody had called and said they found something? I'd like to know where the 911 tapes are.
They have none, right?
I don't know.
Oh.
That's another question we have. And I'm going to explain that. Okay, just a minute here.
Right.
So no law enforcement officer ever called Daynia's mom and sisters. Never. They ended up just showing up. They found out through relatives that she was gone. And that's wrong. You know, we have the detective on scene calling Uncle X, having his phone number, you know, saying that Daynia is deceased. You know, now she had no ID. She was naked in the bathtub. And this is disturbing because the clothes were on the outside of the bathroom. And one thing Jay told me was Daynia was very modest. She was not one to go, prancing around a motel room, especially if even though it was an uncle, she wouldn't have gone prancing around in her birthday suit. Okay? That's just not something she would have done. And so, and then the investigator did tell Jay that in the room, there was a bunch of other clothes, dirty clothes that belonged to Uncle X. Now we have another conflict. The investigator said that Uncle X had rented the motel before they got there and only had a one-night stay. But Mommy said that her little darling Uncle X had been staying there for a while. So which is true?
Somebody's lying.
Yeah, somebody's not telling the truth. And if there were multiple dirty clothes in the room, that would make me think that the man had been staying there a while.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this. This girl's 28 years old. She gets picked up by her uncle to come drive a car. He takes her to his motel. And then he leaves her there. And so the first thing she does is take her clothes off and takes a hot bath. She doesn't take her clothes into the bathroom with her, and she has no other clothes with her. That doesn't make sense. Now, they eventually do go ahead and they ID her through her tattoos. And they did this about 2 p.m. that day, which I think is odd. But they did. Because normally they would do a DNA, but they did it through tattoos. And then they said that they had a hard time doing an autopsy because of the condition she was in. So it doesn't sound like they did much of an autopsy. They had even put her body into what they call a cooling room to try and preserve, to preserve it. Now, like I said, this is all strange. She's naked in the bathtub. Well, then the ME says his time of death is June 20th at around 10 a.m. Okay, back up the bus. She got to the room around 10 a.m.
Uh-huh.
So are you saying something happened to her immediately as she walked in the room? Was somebody else in the room when they got there? Now, Jay and the family found out that Adaynia had owed her uncle some money. She had a debt with him. And she'd actually finally got the money together to pay him, but they found out he had been threatening her. And so she was very nervous about even going to give him the money. She didn't want to be near him. And so she hadn't given him the money yet. So to him, she owed him a debt. Now, my question is, when he was banging on that door that morning on the 20th, was he there to collect his debt? Did she give him his money? Or when a young girl is going, okay, and walks out and gets in a car with a man with a gun, I don't know. Sounds to me like, were you threatened to get in the car?
It kind of sounds like she was being forced to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just gives us questions. And, you're saying Daynia shows up at a motel around 10 and dies around then. But they're telling them that they don't see any reason for her death. So immediately they go, she OD'd. And they're waiting on toxicology right now. Now, number one, she was sober at the time. She had been sober. She was back home. So if there are drugs in her system, did someone give them to her? Now, Jay's been told that if you take fentanyl and put someone in a hot bath, decomp can happen very quickly. And that could explain why her body was in the shape it was in. You know, now my question, and you know, you hate to be crass, but I said, did they do a rape kit? She goes, they said they couldn't do much of an autopsy. I'm like, what? I mean, they should still be able to do some. I've put some feelers out to some MEs, but I haven't got anybody to answer me back. I don't know. And they haven't got the autopsy results back because they're waiting on toxicology. It seems like the police just want to say that she OD'd. Well, you saw this girl with no luggage, no purse. We know she had no money. Where did the drugs come from? She went into a room with her uncle, who is a drug dealer. Did you search the room? Jay said they never said anything about finding drugs. So then why do you think she took them? Now, did you find a syringe? Where was it? Was it in the bedroom part or was it in the bathroom? Did you fingerprint it if you found it? See, they're not telling them that. That's why there's so many questions. And this is why it's not making sense. This was a mother of 2 little boys, and she adored her children, and she was trying to stay sober. Why would she show up, go into the room, and immediately shoot something? Now, the thing is, even if, let's say, she was going to all of a sudden go off the wagon and shoot something, wouldn't you normally lay down on the bed and just enjoy the ride? Instead, you go get in a hot bathtub naked? And yet her uncle is saying she asked him for Tylenol because she had a headache. See, it's just, things don't add up. And my question, has anybody questioned Uncle X?
Well, it doesn't sound like the police have done much investigation on it at all.
No, Jay even asked him, was anybody else seen coming or leaving the room? Oh, there was a lot of people there. At 10 a.m., there's a lot of people at Motel 8. I'm just, okay. Now, here's part of the problem. The police department did have a cyber attack. Okay, in July 4th. And they actually had to shut down on the Monday after, because there was some problems with some of their computers and some of their cases. But we're now July 9th. They should have this figured out. They should have, and Jay asked them, she said, did you guys check other cameras? Oh, well, there aren't any other cameras. Well, there's a lumber place right beside. There's a Chili's not that far. There's a gas station, and across the interstate, I don't know if they would have cameras that would go that far, but there's a Planet Fitness and a Wendy's, and there's this motel is right off the interstate. You're going to tell me there are no other cameras? Because this case is littered or riddled with contradictions. And somebody needs to start asking these questions out loud. Like, why did Uncle X come to the door that morning instead of honking like he always did? Oh, and there's a Walmart. Okay, thanks, LaShawn. And that's her sister. I didn't get to talk to Sean. But yeah. So, and let's be honest, we all know Walmart has 1,000 cameras. So why are we not looking and pulling up footage? Was somebody else in that room? Did they deliver her up to somebody? I'm just asking. Oh, I like that. You showed up at 11:30 at the hotel and his mom said, "Don't come over here accusing." Oh, please. His mommy needs to get a clue. Something's fishy. Now, I'm not saying he did it, but he knows a whole lot. If it was not him, allegedly, he knows who was in that room. Because she owed him a debt, and how was he going to make her pay? That's my question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why did a felon have a gun? When Jay told them that her uncle showed up at their house and he had a weapon, why didn't anybody go and get him picked up? He's a felon. He's not supposed to have a gun. It's against the law. See, detectives want that gold detective badge, but the problem is you have to detect. There's work that you can't sit here and put things into AI saying, what are the chances that this could be, no, you have to go out and actually do the work. You have to go out and ask the questions. And as I was talking with Jay, I was asking her questions. She's like, I didn't think of that. Of course, she's a good girl and doesn't have the mind I do. My mind goes to some of these places.
Like Fowler said, because people don't follow the law. Well,
yeah,
in a lot, there are in some cases where the police don't follow the law either. So
yeah. So, I have questions. Why did the man have a gun? And if he did, okay, let's say he had a gun. Why was it in his lap? See, that's the problem. If he had a gun and you're a felon, you're not going to advertise that. You would have had it maybe in the glove compartment. But when Jay was talking to him, it was laying in his lap. So what, had you threatened your niece to come with you? I mean, I have to ask, allegedly. She got into his car. She went with him. She had no money. She had no ID. How was she going to drive a pickup truck when she didn't have her driver's license?
And from the conversation before she went out and got in the vehicle, it didn't sound like she was going willingly.
No, because she didn't want to be near him.
Yeah.
She was scared because he had threatened her. Yeah. And so why would you go pick her up 120 miles away to come drive a truck somewhere in Pine Ridge, in Rapid City? You couldn't get your grouchy wife to go with you, or your mama? Because she seems to get all over the place when she needs to.
That sounds like a pretty lame excuse for having someone come almost a 2-hour drive.
Yeah. And he didn't tell her she was spending the night because she took no bag. She had no clothes. Now, if he had told her, I need you to come do this for me and it's going to be overnight, then let's be honest, she would have packed a bag. She would have, got another pair of jeans, a t-shirt or something. This isn't making sense. She left her purse and her money. All she had was her phone. The last message was at 10:49, but the coroner's already saying that she was deceased. So that wasn't her that said bro in the text message, then, was it? Who used her phone to text? Where did they find the phone? Was the phone in the bathroom, or was it in the bedroom, or did they find the phone? That's another question.
And all these things would be answered if the police were actually talking to the family.
Well, and asking the questions. Because a girl that's leaving the house going, okay, That sounds to me like you're scared.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. LaShawn says the phone wasn't even found at the hotel. Someone handed the phone in. It wasn't found at the scene. Okay, so that's a problem. Who took the phone and where was it found? Because supposedly, if she went into that room and never came out, why was her phone somewhere else? That's a problem, Mr. Investigator, Detective Man. I have an issue. If the door was locked, supposedly where Uncle X can't get back in, then how did her phone get out? Did it take a walk with the latch tool that was going to help open the door? See, this case is not making sense. And that's why, you really worry. The maid said she heard screaming on the 20th. Nobody checked it out. Nobody reported it. Uncle X reports several times he wants a welfare check on the room, but nobody shows up. And he doesn't stay at the hotel or the motel either. So
why doesn't he go back there and check on her?
Yeah. And why did he not go back to his room that night? Where did he sleep that night?
Yeah.
Mommy, did you put your son up? Did he have his truck? I'm still wanting to know where the truck was. See, what vehicle did he return in? And when he did return, did he have the hamburgers or did he know she wouldn't be eating? Because he said she wanted some burgers.
Well, presumably she told him that he was hungry, that she was hungry and wanted some burgers like the day before, right? I mean,
yeah. So when he showed up on the 20th, because he did come back, remember, and he ended up telling them that the latch was locked at that time, and then that's when we found out that the tool took a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when he showed up, did he show up with burgers? And did he show up with his truck? Because he said he left to get his truck. See? And like Sean says that the phone was not at the scene, and the police aren't concerned about that.
It just sounds like there's either one of two things that's happening. Either they have somebody really, really incompetent on the case, or there's something going on between this detective and Uncle X. I mean that why would he have Uncle X's number without even asking for it?
And I don't know if the first detective on the scene, I don't know if he's the lead investigator. He might not be. So it could be two different people. So my question would be, hey, is Uncle X a CI? Are you guys covering for him?
Yeah.
Because something's fishy. This man has his name on this room. And if you do think this young lady died of an overdose in that room, well, whose room was it? What did you find in that room? Did you find anything? If you didn't, okay.
He's on federal probation, so I'm sure his PO knows by now, and he is looking into. He just got out of prison not too long ago. Huh.
Then why did they not pick him up instantly?
Yeah.
He should have been questioned immediately.
I mean, he should have been a person of interest, like, immediately.
Because I'm sorry, you don't get out on federal probation and they think you're a Boy Scout selling cookies.
Yeah.
And the thing he was upset about was that Jay had narked him out to his mommy. And she's like, I didn't tell her you were doing anything with cocaine. because she didn't know about the cocaine. I'll tell you right now, Jay's funny. She's got a good sense of humor. And the girl, she just tells it like it is. And then we got the contradiction of the hotel maid and the owner and the investigator, how this door got open. The maid saying she walked in with a key card. The owner saying they broke his door. The lead investigator saying, well, one of the detectives used the tool to get in and it might have broke. So someone's not telling the truth.
But when the family got there the next day,
that day, they came that
day, there was no broken lock.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, Jay informed me that when you inject, I guess she's been taught or told that if you inject fentanyl and you get into hot water, it will severely cause decomposition. I sent the screenshots of the threats of alcohol. Okay, awesome. Awesome. See, so, the police have got to realize that something happened to Daynia. That girl did not want to go with him. She wouldn't have gone with him. She was trying to work on being sober and being there for her children. And here's a huge fact. Her youngest, Justice, turned 7 a couple of days after her death. You know she was looking forward to having a birthday party for her little boy. That does not make sense. That woman was not going to drive 2 hours with Uncle X and voluntarily take drugs. I don't believe it. If they find something in her system, you're not going to convince me that she did it, because there's too many questions on what's happened to her.
Yeah,
someone was out to make her pay for something.
Yep.
And
you said something earlier about was she offered up as payment for something on Uncle X's part that she owed Uncle X, and it just rolled downhill.
Yeah. Okay, Shannon says I can second it. No broken lock. Yeah. So people are lying.
Mm-hmm.
They're not telling the truth. And it seems to me, when you think about it, that he did want her found on the 20th. He did, because he called in several times for a welfare check. So I think he panicked. That's why he showed up on the 21st back at the house banging and telling the girls to please take this information off Facebook. Because he had wanted her found. Because if this was your room, this is where you paid, you have been staying here. I would have gone back that night and been banging on that door. And if she hadn't answered, you would have called the cops and said, I need someone here immediately. My niece is not answering my door and I can't get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like he brought her, he forced her, brought her to the room for something.
Yeah.
And then it's like he was setting up the situation so that she'd be found by somebody else.
Yeah. Now, we don't know exactly if she was forced to go. The facts that we have is she didn't want to be alone with him, to even meet him, to give him the money she owed him, even though she had the money. She was scared. He shows up. The only thing Jay heard was her going, okay, okay. And then when she gets outside to see her sister in the car with Uncle X, he's got a gun in his lap. So I'm putting those pieces together that maybe he told her she needed to go, or he might harm her sisters or her mom. Um, yeah, unindicted. You're exactly right. There's too many people covering their bums here.
Mm-hmm.
Something is just it's not going together. I am not a detective, but I've watched enough Columbo for you youngins. This guy in a raincoat. And trust me, Columbo would be going nuts on these people because he'd have a lot of questions too. And I have questions. I mean, these are just normal conversations because it doesn't make sense. You know, even if they're all lying for their own reasons, why would you, number one, lie about the door? Because the maid has told people, and it'd be interesting to know if the maid even still works there. What do you want to bet she got fired? How did the cops know to come to the motel that morning at 11? Unless the maid or the owner called to say they had a body or something. It'd be interesting to know if there's a 911 call. Because if you have the fire department and the police shows up, that sounds like a 911 call to me.
Yeah.
And you might have to do a FOIA request for 911. If you can find out what fire department, I'd do a FOIA request. Yeah, I bet she got fired, because she told him she heard a woman scream the day before, and she, heard, and she told him that she went into the room.
No, like Simi asked, but why lie? Well, because somebody's trying to cover something up.
Yeah.
And it sounds like maybe whoever is trying to cover it up didn't confirm their story with whoever they wanted to cover up for, so.
Yeah. Hey, Hellcat. Yeah, unindicted, you're right. Small town communities can be weird. And there's a lot of politics that gets played. And let's be honest, Adaynia is a native girl.
Yeah.
And if she had been blonde and blue-eyed Sally from the suburbs, I bet you we wouldn't have all this chaos.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Can somebody tell what is this? Is Rapid City PD, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can anybody tell us? I don't know what the population is of Rapid City, but I don't think Rapid City is like a small town, like under 10,000. So,
they have around 86,000.
Yeah, that's
So that's still a good size. That
yeah,
was
it is
about the 2020 census.
Mm-hmm.
Over 86,000. Let's see. I'm confused as to the sister in the car. Did they switch places? Was the sister used as bait to get Daynia out? No. Okay. Here, let me explain that. Maybe I did that poorly, Pammy, but no. Whenever the knocking came and then Jay heard a male voice, she thought it was the cops. And so she pretended to be asleep because she didn't want to be bothered. I don't blame her. It was early. And so, but when she heard her sister say, okay, and then it sounded like she was leaving the house, that's when Jay thought, oh, are the cops taking her? And she ran to find out. And that's when she got out there. Daynia was in the car with her uncle, X. And so Jay walks up to the car like, hey, where you going? Hey, can I get a cigarette? And, just chit-chatting because she didn't know anything was up.
And the gun was laying in his lap.
So, yeah, nobody was used as bait at the house. He came looking for Daynia. She answered the door, and then she's in the car with him. but they know she didn't want to go with him because
So,
she was
yeah.
scared to be with him.
Yeah, so we don't know for sure whether she was forced, but it sounds an awful lot like it.
Oh, okay. Shannon is saying no fire trucks. Okay, only 2 cop cars, 2 detectives. Okay, because somewhere I had read they said something about a fire truck, but you're saying there was no fire. Was there EMTs there, Shannon? Do you know? Oh, no problem, Pan. You guys ask questions.
Yeah.
You know, we'll answer to the best of our ability. And her sisters are here, so you know they can try and answer it because they have more information than I do. We're just trying to get this story out there because nobody is covering it. And there are too many questions of this young mother. And her mom said, I don't want people to just think that my daughter was a drug addict and didn't matter. And I can honestly tell her, I don't think that. Your daughter was a beautiful young woman, a mother, a sister, a daughter, and she was trying to get her life back on track. And she should still be with us.
Mm-hmm.
But something happened. You know, and see, now I'm beginning to wonder if that phone, that text at 10:49, I would love to know about the footage, if they still have it, of when Uncle X left the motel. Because did he leave around 10:49? Did he take that phone with him, and is he the one that tossed it somewhere? Because the cops have got to start asking themselves, where was the phone found and how did it get there? You know, because I'm sorry, no girl is going to go into this room with a man that she was afraid to be with, ask for Tylenol, then get naked and get in the bathtub. I'm sorry. Yes, Jamie, I believe too, by intimidation.
Yep.
And I think she was intimidated by him. I think she was forced. I do think the gun had something to do with it, because why was it in his lap?
Yeah, because if she said okay, like she's being pushed out the door.
Yeah, like okay,
like
I'm coming.
she's being pushed out the door by gunpoint. You know,
yeah. He drives a Chrysler 300. Yeah, geofencing. Yeah, they need to be doing some geofencing. But see, this is the problem, Pammy. These cops just want to stamp it as an OD and not look, because this is a native girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's had drug problems before. Well, guess what? She wasn't having them then. She was trying to stay sober for her family, her children. So you guys need to be checking into this stuff.
Okay. Let's concentrating on Uncle X a little bit.
Yeah.
What was he in for? How much time did he serve of his sentence when he was released? Because it sounds like
he got
maybe he was out for some reason other than, you know, he just finished his sentence, you know.
Yeah. Well, because I didn't delve into we're not mentioning his name.
No. Yeah.
And so I don't have his records, because I didn't want to put Jay in that position. And so that's why we're calling him Uncle X, even though she actually said his name to me once or twice. We're just calling him Uncle X. Oh, so EMTs came to take her. Okay.
Okay.
That wasn't on an. Okay, 4 of them got out. Okay. Shannon, what was Uncle X? Was he in prison for drugs? Yeah, that could be. I mean, like I said, yeah. I would like to know the do a FOIA request.
Yeah.
Which is the Freedom of Information Act. You can do a Freedom of Information Act and to find out if there was a 911 call. Because if the maid saw something, I'm sure she probably screamed and went down there and they called 911. So that morning, I would be looking for a FOIA request from that hotel to 911.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd like to know what the conversation was.
And if the 911 calls are either non-existent or something happened with the 911 call, that's that would really be suspect.
Yeah. I mean, the room was registered to Uncle X. It was his room. So it doesn't sound like they really searched the room. So if they did not find any drugs in that room, then how is this girl that was in a car with him, came straight there and never left? How did she get anything in her system if there is anything? Someone had to have put it in there. He's just got some explaining to do, and his mommy can hold his hand while he does it if that's necessary. But there are just too many questions about what he was doing, taking her to a motel when supposedly it was to take a car.
Well, the thing is too is that we're knocking on what, 20, almost 18 to 20 days post crime, and the family has the family been actually interrogated or whatever, interviewed about what happened at the house by the authorities?
Oh, Shannon said I heard he had a shootout with the cops in a high speed chase. I could be wrong. Was that
okay?
Why he went to prison? Is that what you're saying? Well, I know Jay. Let's see. I talked to Jay yesterday, and that would have been on the 8th. And she said on the 7th, she had talked to the investigator. And that was the last time she had spoke with him. And he basically was like, we're waiting for a talk screen. But nobody, this story has not been in the news. Nobody's talking about this girl found in a motel room. And yet they're talking about other cases. Pammy, I don't know. I said, I just wondered if he was a CI because why on earth would the first detective on scene, supposedly call him, and how did he get his private number to call Uncle X?
Yeah, it's like he already knew him.
I guess the motel could have, if when he checked in, could he have given the phone number when he checked into the room? I guess that's a possibility. So he could have got the number from the front desk. But still, why would you call the uncle and nobody ever notified her family?
Investigators haven't reached out to us to interrogate. Oh, no. Yeah, see that's...
Yeah, and James, they actually shouldn't interrogate you. They should just be interviewing you.
Yeah, they should be interviewing you to find out what happened.
Not an interrogation, but they should be asking you, like, what was her relationship with Uncle X? What were her plans that day? Was she planning on going to Rapid City with him? Those would have been they should have been asking you guys questions.
It's like the police really don't want to know.
And that's really the feeling I'm getting, is that they just don't want. Okay, so that's what you're saying, was that he had a high-speed chase and a shootout with the police. That's why he went to prison. Okay.
All right.
And so the stand-up guy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, and like I said, there was a cybersecurity. That was true. They did have a cyber attack. They did close down on Monday. So that would have been the 7th. And I think that was the last time, that was the day that Jay talked to the detective or the investigator. So, I encourage Jay to call him back, because hopefully by now they have their computers up, and hopefully we've given you guys some more questions to ask. I understand. Yeah. And that, and May, I guess May is your name. That's what I'm thinking, is that because she's a native girl, they just don't care. Like I said, if she was Sally from the suburbs, this would have been in the news.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's wrong. And it needs to be shouted out, and it needs to be told it's wrong. Uncle X's mother most likely given. Yeah. Yeah. Him, Mina. Okay. Yeah. And this is why we tell the stories, and this is why we have our platform and we open it up, because no one should ever be forgotten. No one should ever be told they don't matter, because we're all family. We're all part of the human race. And if we cut us, we all bleed red. And actually on our other channel, Songs from the Dark by Z, I do have Doc put out a little video on that. And that's what the song's, it's about the human race, because that's where we have to start looking out for each other.
Like Shannon said, the mother was there deep in conversation with two cops when I arrived.
Why?
Why? What's Mommy Dearest have to do with any of this?
And how did Mommy even know about this motel room and all that?
Yeah.
Unless little Uncle X ran to his mommy to say, go fix this. See, something's just fishy.
Yeah.
They actually didn't give a lot of information on the ransom attack. They just said that, or on the cyber attack, they just said they had one. Yeah, I don't know. They did not there wasn't a whole lot of information on the news. I just found out that there was one on the July 4th weekend, and that they had to shut the county offices down starting on July 6th.
He was told he was in a meeting. Oh, that's
Now, see, North,
that's rich.
That's my question. When they say they can't charge him because he wasn't present when she died, how do we know? See, that is the problem. I have a problem with them saying, because they really don't know. Because it sounds to me like she passed away pretty much after she walked in that room. So he was in the room with her.
Yeah, with I mean, the ME has a time of death within an hour, right? I mean,
no, within the time. She got there around 10 a.m. and they're saying she died about 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So
this
whole thing and walked out immediately.
This whole thing just sounds like an exercise in CYA administration. So
yeah, this sounds like a really bad TV show that we're watching, and we're all going, that would never happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, it did happen. Because it's like having a puzzle and somebody stole half of the pieces and you're still trying to jam them together to make the picture. You can't make it. And that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sheriff Mueller's office did say there's an active investigation into the cyber attack. But he said, we're not saying why there was a breach. And so they're not giving information about what happened. They're keeping it quiet.
I'm less interested in the cyber attack as I am in, what happened. And it just sounds like they're using the cyber attack as deflection material.
Yeah, I don't know. to even me. Oh, a friend had to help set up. See, that's wrong, North. That investigator should have willingly had a meeting with the family.
They should have been seeking you out to have an interview with you. I mean,
Maina, was it a shower or a bathtub? I was told it was a bathtub, but was it a shower or was it a tub shower? Because most of those rooms, that's what you have, is you have a bathtub with a shower in the tub, you know. But, you know, Daynia's family does not believe that this is some accidental overdose. And I don't blame them. I don't think it was either.
no.
She had been working on her sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I think
tub,
it was
tub shower.
Yeah.
You know,
there is a thing called a FOIA request. You guys can email me. It's trialjunkiesunited@gmail.com. Or you can call me. Jay has my phone number. You know, reach out to me, email me, or call, or I can email me and I'll give you my phone number and we can talk, and I'll let you know, some options and try and help in any way we can. Yeah. She was busy staying home and her mother said she was so happy. Yeah, they need a press conference.
Mm-hmm.
And see, this is one thing we do have to talk about is, people want to say, oh, well, you're pointing the finger at a relative. Well, McKenna Wendell was a 14-year-old girl that was recently, her uncle and his friend were arrested for her murder. And she was just 14 up there in North Dakota. So this does happen. It's sad when it does. Can
anybody tell me, has the family contacted any members of the press to get this?
Yeah, that was what I was going to suggest.
Yeah, because I mean, Pammy mentioned that perhaps a press conference. But I think it's going to be a situation where the family needs to start that process. Because the police aren't going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have to go get some signs, stand in front of the police station, put the MMIP or MMIW signs up, that might get the press's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if, you're there in South Dakota, I know Francisco Tobacco is an advocate, get some advocates to come and help you and help you figure out exactly how you want to plan it out, because this needs attention. This really does. And it breaks my heart. Like I said, her and I share the same birthday. And when I read that, it just her case touched me, because this beautiful girl was 28 years old. We should not even be having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
She should be home right now having hot chips, making fun of her sisters.
Yep.
That's what should be going on. This is not the story that we should be telling.
Yeah, you had brought up the about Siska. Do they have her contact information? Do they know of her? Because I can't see her not helping in a situation like this.
Yeah, and because truthfully, this is how I came across this case, as I saw some other advocates had posted stuff on Facebook. And so that's why I started reaching out and I found Jay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, like I told Jay, and I'm sincere about this, when we do a story and we tell the story, tomorrow you're not forgotten. If you call me up and say, what do you suggest, this, or this, or do you have a connection here or there? I will do everything I can to help. So we're building a community. That's why we welcome the trial junkies, the truth seekers, and the justice warriors, because this is what this community is made up of. And that's why we do what we do, is because these are honest-hearted people that hate injustice. And we all should hate injustice.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to see everybody have a fair shot. And it doesn't matter what race, what religion, what any gender, anything. We all deserve justice.
Well,
oh, sweetheart,
yeah.
don't say that. You're a part of your sister. That rubs off. You guys are doing amazing. No one should ever have to be in this situation. No one ever thinks they're going to be in this situation. And then it happens. So, we're here for you. Our community's here for you. We do believe something suspicious very much happened in that motel room. And we can't keep losing our Native sisters and the children and the elders, because this has to stop. It has to stop. And it's not just the women we have to protect. It's the little kids. They're the future, and they deserve to grow up in homes where the people who are supposed to protect them actually do. And so we have to make sure that we say something if we know something. Yeah. In the MMIW movement, it's overwhelmingly women who show up. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any men, because I've seen some men online that, speak up and say stuff, but the majority is women. The majority of women advocates, or the advocates of MMIW, MMIP, are women.
Yeah, I don't know of any guys that.
We need you men.
Mm-hmm.
You women, start training your sons. I know Karen Sky, she has a grandson that will go on searches with her. Train the young men. They have to know this is important. The women hold the family together. You need to protect them. The women are organizing the searches. They're demanding the answers. They're carrying the weight of the grief into public so that their sisters aren't forgotten. And I'm not criticizing the men. I'm just saying it's now time to stand up. Justice lost his dad some years back.
That's sad.
Yeah, my heart goes out to that little man. And to Orland too. I mean, they're facing something they shouldn't have to. They have aunties and uncles and a grandma that care for them. And
please, any of the family that get on our Linktree hub, and Siska Tobacco's information is on there, and please get a hold of her.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Because, and it'll be in the description when we're done with the video at the bottom. So just get in there and you can get it. If you have trouble, get a hold of me. It's okay.
Yep.
I'm not a tech person. That's Doc. He's the tech dude. But, the women deserve every ounce of respect we can give them.
Thank you, Simi.
We need more men to step up. We want to see you. We want to see you out there helping fight this fight, because it's not just women and children. There are a lot of men that are missing. There are a lot of elders that are missing. We have to unite and take care of each other. Daynia was loved. She was a mom, a sister, a daughter, a friend. she was a protector. She was a soldier when it came to protecting her sisters. She was a cowgirl. She left behind 2 little guys, Orlin and Justice, who are going to grow up carrying her with them. But it is going to be hard. So, yeah. That have had to march for their children in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the grandmother network is fierce. So are the aunties. Trust me, on the reservation, the aunties are fierce. I've been watching a comedian talking about the aunties. You don't mess with aunties. But we're here as a community. We have a couple of missing people. Let's go over it before we wind up tonight. Stay alert. Put your cell phone down when you're in public, everybody. Look at people's faces. We know some people leave voluntarily because they get coerced out of their home. Young ones get coerced online, and then they get in trouble and they can't come home. And we also know trafficking happens. So please look at the faces. If you think you see someone, call the authorities. If you're scared to call the cops, our email is tips4trialjunkiesunited@gmail.com. Made it simple. Send it to me. I'll send it on to the police. You could save somebody's family member's life, and that's what's important. Our first young girl is Aaliyah. Oh, that's Jay and Daynia. I like that picture because it was them just doing normal stuff. Just girls being girls. I liked that. It was cute. But here we go. Our missing people. This is Aaliyah Sunwalk. She's 15 years old, you guys. June 28th, she went missing from Glenchen, Alberta, Canada. And I probably butchered that name. From the Sika Nation. And I probably butchered that, and I apologized. Her hair is mixed colors. They didn't really have a color, which I can relate to. She weighs 120 pounds, and she's 5 foot tall. Little thing. Contact the RCMP there at 403-734-3923 or the Crime Stoppers 1-800-222-8477. Our next young lady is Delilah Watson. She's been missing since July 2nd. She was last seen, that was the last time she was seen in person. There was a phone call on the 5th, but since then, it's been crickets. Nothing. From St. Michael's, Arizona. She was leaving a Denny's the last time she was seen on the 2nd. She's 20. She's 5'3", 210 pounds with brown eyes and black hair. She was seen wearing a yellow t-shirt and blue denim shorts. She has a rose tattoo on her left hand and scars on her left forearm. So if anyone has seen Delilah, contact the Navajo police at 928-871-6111 or 6112. And that's the Navajo police in the Window Rock district. So let's get that done. Let's get her found. Doc, you're going to have to help me with this name. Owachoa. What is it, Doc?
Owachobi? Owachobi Wood.
She's 15 years old. She's been missing since July 3rd. Location, Great Falls, Montana. We know how notorious Montana is for our native people, our brothers and sisters. 15 years old. We've had a lot missing in that area. She has brown hair and brown eyes. She's 5'3" and weighs 130 pounds. This photo was taken back on November 3rd of 2025. Great Falls Police Department at 406-455-8565. Great Falls PD Dispatch is 406-455-8599. Let's get these people found. The Montana Clearinghouse is 406-444-2800. They need to be found. Let's remember that. And please take current photos of all your relatives on your cell phone. And I mean everybody. I don't, get a front view, get a side view. If they get a new tattoo, get a picture of it, okay? If you see something, say something, because someone knows what happened in that motel room. and they need to let us know. Please say her name. Adaynia Caine Poor Bear-Richards. She was loved. She had a mom who loved her. She has sisters, her 2 boys, Oren 9 and Justice 7, who just turned 7 after his mama was gone. And I know she was looking forward to that. She had her uncle, Jet, and her grandma. She was sober and clean and working. And she was happy to be back with her mother and sisters. She was the clown. The next pictures are pictures of her funeral. And they did a horse ride because she was a cowgirl. And I want to share them with you because they moved me. The tribute closes with a promise that Jay wrote. She says, "Long live Daynia Caine, cowgirl, soldier, heart of the family, carried forever in her sister's heart until they ride together again." There's so much mystery surrounding this case and about what happened in that motel room. Answers have to be found. We have to stop losing our Native sisters, the children, all of our Native brothers and sisters, and just chalk it up to being just another MMIW case. No, we're not going to do that no more. She was too beautiful and too loved to be ignored. The investigators need to do some of that detecting. They want that pretty gold badge. Start asking some questions, please. Give the family some answers. Don't go with the lazy answer that it was an OD. Why would a detective on the scene call Uncle X and say she was deceased when you guys hadn't ID'd her? Not even bothering to call her mother. And that's troubling. Like I said, we don't know what happened. We have suspicions. And this is the riders where they ride and they have a horse with no rider. And this really gets you. But let's remember, this was someone that mattered. She mattered and she had a place here. And she was taken away. And we're not going to be quiet about it. She deserves to have her name said. Adaynia. Let's keep saying it. Let's keep following this case. Remember, we know every predator and every killer depends on our silence. Don't give them the silence. The criminals never stop, you guys, so neither do we. Every Thursday, we cover MMIP cases. Sundays, we do other kinds of cases, trafficking, children's cases, Jane Doe cases, or stories that touch us. So please join us on a Sunday. I want to give out a shout out to Pammy. She bought us a coffee last week. And that really helped because Doc ended up having to get a new computer monitor because his died slow, ugly death. But remember, you guys, silence is betrayal. So we're not going to be silent. I wrote another song at the end of the show. And these are for Daynia. The first one was really all about Adaynia. This one, it mentions Adaynia, but it's also for all the other MMIW women. And we're going to hold them close. So until next time, you guys, stay informed, stay compassionate, keep seeking truth, never stop speaking up. We love you guys. We're going to see you on Sunday. Give our love to the boys and your mom, and all you girls give each other a hug for us. We wish we were there to give it to you. And we're here when you need us. So let's go ahead and hear our last song. Thank you for coming and sharing. Please, you guys, share this video. Let's get this seen. Get it seen as much as we can on all your social media. So have a good night. Enjoy the song. And ciao.
Yeah. lost a cowgirl, a soldier, a part of us. We lost a sister, and this wasn't an accident. Life is worth so much more than the things we're fighting over. It's a whole life, we only get one, taken too soon. Why are we fighting over things that don't matter? Why is anything worth more than a life? No excuse can bring her back. Nothing justifies an act like that. Whatever the reason, whatever they say, nothing gives you the right to take her away. None of it is worth a life taken from us, taken too soon. Silence is betrayal, so we won't stay quiet. No more silence, no more. Protecting our own, even from each other. Why aren't we holding sacred every sister, every mother? Without the women, without the children, tell me what's left. There's no future in this fight if we don't stand up next. Why are we fighting over things that don't matter? Why is anything worth more than a life? No excuse can bring her back. Nothing justifies an act like that. Whatever the reason, whatever they say, nothing gives you the right to take her away. None of it is worth a life stolen from us, taken too soon. Silence is betrayal, so we won't stay quiet. No more silence, no more. We can't keep losing lives to the ugliness within. Silence isn't loyalty. It's a debt we can't repay. Don't hide behind blood while another life's taken away. We have to speak the truth even when it's hard. No more silence. No more hiding what we know. None of it is worth a life taken from us, taken too soon. Silence is betrayal, so we won't stay quiet. No more silence, no more. For Daynia and every life taken too soon.